Okay, this is our third section of the book Benjamin's Box, along with the Easter resurrection eggs. So we are now looking at the bright yellow or the dark yellow egg. So this is egg number 7, if you're following along. And it is a cross made of pieces that are shaped like nails. Okay, and this chapter in the book is called The Nail, and it's from John 19 in the Bible. And remember, Benjamin is a fictional character, but the events that he is witnessing are from the Bible. So it's a historical fiction book or story. The Nail. "Benjamin," cried Eli, "have you heard? Jesus is to be crucified." "No," cried Benjamin, "he's done nothing to deserve that." Eli frowned. "My father said that only the worst criminals are put to death on a cross." Benjamin went inside and sat in a dark corner of his house. He did not want to talk or even think about this sad news, but in his mind he could still see the evil men hurting Jesus. "I must go," he finally said aloud. "If this is partly my fault, I can at least be there. I can pray for him." "Where are you going?" asked his mother as he opened the door. "To help a friend," he said. She nodded and touched his cheek. As Benjamin climbed the hill, he found a large spike. It was like those used by Romans to nail criminals to crosses. He tucked it in his tunic and continued on. 3 crosses stood at the top of the hill, but he could not force his eyes to look upon his friend. He noticed a small group of people apart from the larger crowd. He knew they were Jesus' dearest friends. He sat near them and bowed to pray, but the only words that came were, "I'm sorry, God. I'm so sorry." Okay, next we have 2 eggs actually that go with this chapter. The kind of light green or teal green is a die. If you have 2, they're called dice, but 1 is a die. And the purple, dark purple egg is a spear. So this chapter, the die and the spear, are from John 19 in the Bible. Benjamin watched as soldiers gambled for Jesus' clothes. He tried to shut his ears to their cruel remarks. Finally, he forced himself to look up. Benjamin looked into Jesus' eyes and saw such sorrow and pain that it cut to his heart. But he also saw love, and like before, Jesus looked right at Benjamin. Surely this was his way of saying all would be well. Perhaps he would even do a miracle. But instead, the sky turned dark and Jesus cried out, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." The ground shook and Jesus breathed his last breath. Benjamin was stunned. Jesus was dead. As if in a dream, Benjamin heard the people move about. He saw a soldier pierce his friend's side with a spear. People hurried to take down crosses and bodies before the Sabbath began. Soon they were gone, and he was alone. He picked up a stone the soldiers had gambled with and looked up at the dark sky. Why had God allowed it? Later that night, he opened his treasure box and placed the nail and the gambling stone inside. He looked at his collection. It had seemed so valuable when he believed Jesus was the king, but now the strange items only filled him with unbearable sadness. Next, we'll open the cream-colored egg. That's a piece of cloth. Much softer than the last few items we've had, right? Okay, this chapter, the cloth, is from Matthew 27 in the Bible. "Benjamin," called Eli the next morning, "come hear the news." Benjamin stuck his head out the window and rubbed his sleepy eyes. "They posted guards at Jesus' tomb," explained Eli. "Some say that Jesus will return to life." Benjamin perked up. "My grandfather told me that Jesus brought some people back from the dead." "Maybe it will happen again," said Eli. "But the soldiers say they're making sure people don't steal the body." Quickly, Benjamin dressed and raced to the tomb. Could it be? Could Jesus have returned to life? How he hoped so. But the huge stone remained in place and the guards blocked the tombs. With dark, scowling faces, they told him to leave at once. As Benjamin walked slowly down the hill, he noticed a bit of white cloth hanging from a small branch. He plucked it off and rubbed it between his fingers. His parents wove cloth like this for burials. Jesus is dead, he told himself as he continued toward home. That night, he sadly placed the cloth in his box. This would surely be the last thing to remember his friend by. He tried to pray, but no words came. He wondered if God even listened. So I hate to leave you on that sad note, but the rest of the story will be on the next video. So if you can wait and read it for your Bible time tomorrow, great. But if not, I understand.